Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome to another edition of the Genesys Cloud Community's Q&A show, the show where we answer your pressing questions in the Genesys online community. My name is Matt Lawson. I am your online community manager, and the season is upon us. I'm talking about my favorite season of the year. Nope, not that one, not that one, not that one. I'm talking about Black Friday. I love it. I love the spontaneity of it all. Deals coming up, deals coming down. The unexpected can always happen and make your smart house just a little smarter. Today's episode was actually kind of a surprise for me. We ended up, we have an episode coming up in early December that's going to be on the topic of metrics. And I'd love for you all to send any questions that you may have on that topic. It's going to be all about Genesys Cloud metrics. And we have Macy who's going to join us, an expert on the topic, and she can't wait to answer your questions. But in the process of getting those questions coming in, we had a question about a Microsoft Teams integration. Well, as luck would have it, our friend JJ is very familiar with this integration and wanted to stop by real quick to do an episode. Just turned out we had the editing resources available. JJ was available. The stars aligned like a perfect Black Friday special. So let's get into it. Hey, JJ, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thanks, Matt. Really good. It's been a long time.
It has been a long time. You were always close to my thoughts, though. Don't worry about that.
You're an absolute gent.
How's the end of the year looking for you? Excited about the upcoming holidays and everything?
Yeah, obviously we were all struggling with the whole COVID thing, but we're quite lucky. We managed to, amongst all the confusion and panic, we moved house. So nice. We're just trying to get settled into this new house and looking forward to Christmas. Yeah, it's good to be here, and it's going to be good to just chill out and maybe be on our own. Who knows? But that's the plan for the end of 2020.
Awesome. So, you've been on the show before, but some people may not have seen that episode. I think you've been on one or two episodes. It doesn't really matter. Can you go ahead real quick and just introduce yourself, tell people what you do?
Yeah, sure. So I'm JJ, and I'm part of the global team here at Genesys. Really, we're strategic sales consultants. So we get involved with marketing events, recording content like this, and also helping out with opportunities when they need something probably special or bespoke building outside of our global demo platform.
That's awesome. Yeah, and you've always been great on the show, and today is no exception. You're really in the holiday spirit, chipping in at the very last second to answer a question that came in from a online community customer, which is fabulous. Before we get into that question, we always like to have an icebreaker. And with the holidays coming up, one of my favorite questions that was submitted, by the way, if you ever have an icebreaker for the show, you can go to the GCAP challenge and submit it that way. And you have a chance of your question being asked live. This is a question that I've asked before, so I apologize if off the top of my mind, I can't remember exactly who sent it in. But the question was, what is your favorite holiday tradition? And I figured, with where we're at in terms of the holidays, now is the perfect time to ask it. So JJ, go ahead real quick. What is your favorite holiday tradition? And keep in mind, it did not specify a particular holiday, just in general.
Yeah, so, okay, so I do a fair bit of sports, namely cycling, but I'm just getting into triathlon. So you have to sometimes be careful and quite strict with what you eat just to keep fit and everything else, keep the energy up. But, traditionally, when it comes to a holiday, Matt, I like to not exercise and just eat loads of cake and sweet things. I've got a real sweet tooth, so it gives me an opportunity to get stuck into all those puddings. I love it.
That's awesome. So as somebody who doesn't really get a ton of puddings or cakes, is there a particular one that you always look forward to? Like here we have different pies, like pumpkin pies, cherry pies, apple pies, pudding the same thing?
Yeah, just any will do. Anything sweet. With custard. I don't know if you get custard in the US, but
cool.
Custard is all good.
Awesome. Well, that sounds great. I love eating myself. Awesome. Well, JJ, thank you again so much for tagging in and doing this episode. I said in the intro, we put this together in roughly like 48 hours of knowing that we would be going to record, but just goes to show what a stellar guy you are. As you know, this whole episode came about because in my request for questions related to metrics, we actually had a customer ask a question that was a little off topic, maybe not, but they were wanting to know about Microsoft Teams. And the first thing that they asked was to know a little bit more about the Microsoft Teams integration. They said a detailed Q&A episode would be great. And in my quest to try to help them with an answer, you volunteered to step in and kind of give them a brief overview of what that integration looks like. So why take the spotlight away from you any longer? You're a wonderful presenter, and I can't wait to learn more about the Microsoft Teams integration that exists. So JJ, take it away.
Thanks, Matt. So let's dive straight in. First of all, what we've got today here is an agent called JJ. So I'm going to be the agent, and JJ is going to be showing all the interactions within Genesys Cloud. And also what we're going to do is have a website here. This is our demo website. And today we're going to have a customer called George. And George is going to be showing you a series of different things in conjunction with JJ. We're going to go through Genesys Cloud Predictive Engagement, which will leverage service automation or chatbot capabilities within the website here, which will then transfer to an agent, escalate to voice, and then show your Teams integration that many of your users on your forum site has asked for. Now, I'm also going to then finish up with a bit of quality management, which will show how Genesys Cloud can handle that whole audit process if you want to play back all these sessions and different endpoints within the evaluation. So first of all, here is George on our website. Okay, George has been advised to come to Runner-Up Tech, and the reason being that today he's got an IT problem, and Runner-Up Tech is a super IT company that we've made up here at Genesys. And simply, George is having problems with cloud storage replication today. So first of all, what he needs to do is get started. He needs to take out a subscription. So let's imagine that he's filled in the details here and registered. But just before he signs up for his basic user level £10 a month subscription, he's going to pop his card details in and actually back away. Now, in backing away, something pretty cool is going to happen on the website here. This is where we're using Genesys Cloud Predictive Engagement to monitor everybody's personas or everybody's experience on the website here. And because George has actually backed away, what we've done is triggered what we call a customer journey segment. And on this particular segment, we've identified it as a low-cost segment, really low-tier subscription. But of course, we don't want to lose that opportunity. We've seen the customer, George, to back away from his card payment, and the software suddenly thought, okay, we may lose this opportunity in tying the customer. Let's give him this exclusive offer. So here's the offer, first month free of charge, which is fabulous, of course. If we went for a larger tier or an entirely different type of persona as a customer, we could have invoked something entirely different. So let's click through here and accept this and leave George to sign up his plan that he wants to go for. Let's just drill down into a bit more detail as to what's happened here. So if I go into my admin pane within Genesys Cloud and go to what we call Live Now, many of your viewers, Matt, will know, or your contributors will know all about Genesys Predictive Engagement and know that this live monitor is looking at every website that's hooked into this Genesys Cloud org. And here we have our unknown customer at the moment. This will be George, but unknown because he's not registered on the website. He's gone through the web and gone through the plan segment, and is actually fired what we call, or matched a segment called runner up low plans. Now let's just drill down into this user persona a little bit deeper, and this will make a bit more sense to people that haven't seen predictive engagement. So predictive engagement is designed to run complementary alongside any web analytics and such technology that your customers may be using. Okay, but what it allows you to do is, using the menus on the left-hand side, it allows the CX team to work in conjunction with the local IT team or the website administrator to build a customer journey and chop that into different segments. So here we've got a customer journey, and George has gone to the website, he's gone to the Runner-Up Tech website, get started page, he's gone through the plans, and he's chosen the home user plan. But he's abandoned that form. And on abandoning that form, what we've done is executed what we call a segment. And this is the segment that's been added by the CX team. And they've decided that if that form is abandoned, pop up this content offer. So it's a bit of artwork that they've created, put in as a JPEG in the on the menus on the left-hand side, and we've invoked it. We've overlaid it on the corporate website using the power of Genesys Cloud. And you can then see that that content offer has been clicked through and opened. So all through this whole stage, this customer journey, you can invoke any type of thing. And remember, this is a content offer called Abandon the Form for a Runner-Up Low Value Customer. If it's a high value customer, you could have popped a web chat up instantly. You could have popped up a telephone number or transferred them straight over a digital channel straight through to an agent. Lots of different ways of drawing that customer in and winning that business. Okay, let's just go back to the interaction pane and go back to George. So George is now registered. And of course, now what he needs to do on the website is log in to gain access to runner-up tech. So here we are as George logging in. And now he's got access to all the services. So first of all, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the web chat here. I love a bit of digital interaction. It's really easy to use. And here it is overlaid on the website, again, using the widget from Genesys Cloud. And it's already pre-populated all the information from George because we captured this in the registration process for full seamless integration into the website. And we're going to start the chat. Now, this is going to actually invoke, could invoke absolutely anything, but we've chosen to invoke a chatbot. And the chatbot is now asking George, hello, George, I recognize your persona, you're a registered user. What can I do for you today? Now, I wish to raise a ticket. If only I could type. And in doing so, if the chatbot knows what I want, straight in there. If he was a bit unsure about our intentions, then it's going to ask us a few more questions. But what seems to be the issue? I have slow cloud storage replication. So here we've built in a bit of empathy into the chatbot. It's like, oh, I'm really sorry to hear that. Let me check this out. So during the registration process, we caught all sorts of details about the architecture and the technology that George is using. So in the back-end systems here, using our open APIs, the service bot from Genesys, it's actually hooking into the third-party systems. First and foremost, it's check the cloud storage. That's working absolutely fine. And the chatbot has actually found a problem there on local congestion on the internet, so congestion on the local internet service. So it's just explaining that to George here, and again, asking for confirmation, do you wish to raise that ticket? Yes, indeed. Let's get this resolved and get on the case. Oop. So, yes, indeed. And straight away, what the service automation bot is going to do, great. Please hold on whilst I raise that for you. We're hooking in, again, using our open APIs into the back-end systems. And straight away, we've raised a case number there. So what I'm going to quickly do is just copy that case number because I've got a feeling we might need that later on. And George is really chuffed to bits for this. We've got a case raised, taken out a subscription, got a case raised, and it says an engineer will be with us within the hour. So I'm going to say thanks, goodbye, and close down that session. Super swift, really cool, exactly what George is hoping for, a service on that website. Now, all the technology in the world is absolutely fantastic, and it really gives you the advantage of keeping ahead of the game and really providing a super cool service to your customers. But unfortunately, humans do sometimes let the chain of events down, and George sadly has not received a phone call back. So what he's going to do, he's going to come back to the website here, going to hook into the chat once again as before, and now chase up the ticket. So let's see what happens. Hi, George. What can I do for you today? So I'm going to type in chase a ticket. And doing so, we're going to get asked for the, so here's a fun example how the chatbot's just clarifying exactly what we need. So I think you're interested in chasing a ticket. Is that correct? Yes. And in return, we should hopefully get asked about the ticket number. There you go. Lucky I copied that earlier. Here we go. So we pasted the ticket number in, and straight away, service automation knows that this is a customer who's exceeded the 1 hour wait period and instantly transfers this to an agent. So I'm just going to take this call. I'm going to go on queue. And here we go. Here's the interaction. So I'm going to answer that interaction straight away. I've got full chat capability between hello, George. And we see that JJ said hello, and hello, JJ back from George. And straight away that comes into the chat. So full two-way digital interaction between the agent there, JJ, and the customer, George. However, what I can do is do some wonderful things. So first of all, predictive engagement. If I wanted to see that customer journey, okay, I could click on this map here and it instantly load up all the details of what the journey, what the customer has been to. And that's a super cool feature because it really allows the agent to fully be sympathetic to the customer, understand the journey they've been through, good or bad, and really carry on that conversation. I can also fire up scripts, of course. And here I've got a script which is containing multiple different technologies. First and foremost, we've dipped into the CRM here, Dynamics. We've brought in all the details. So we can see this is George demo. We can see his address. We can see that the first line of it is a scenario with slow cloud storage replication, but we can see that the first line engineer, and ignore that just for a second. We're on a live demo platform here, and it's other people doing a demo. And also we can see the first line of call was in fact the service bot, and now a second line engineer, Dean Roberts, is involved. So great access into the CRM. I can actually automatically click to CRM here, or I can also use these pop-up buttons. So lots of super ways this screen pot's happening. But look what we've got here. This is Agent Assist, and if I actually go back to something like on my chat, if I type in backup, what Agent Assist is doing is looking at my every move, and straight away here it's recognized backup. And I've got the ability here in Agent Assist to actually instantly take this information, pop it into the chat. This could be PDFs, it could be web information, it could be just advice around how to repair something. You build up the Agent Assist directory, and this can support your agent through and through to get everything resolved. So really swift sort of resolution to problem tickets, if that's the type of thing you're dealing with. Now, more often than not, sometimes digital actions just don't work. You know, here we've got an escalation, and we really need to talk to George and gauge what's going on. And the reason I want to do that is, well, I've identified that Dean Roberts is the engineer here. So I'm going to actually transfer our customer to George to Dean Roberts. So let's escalate this call and see what happens. So I'm going to escalate this call. This instantly pulls a call into my desktop, and this is George coming through into the follow-up. So I know that's my interaction for George. And here's George's telephone number. This is the telephone number that George would have registered with us when taking out the registration on the website. And if I click on here, that's going to instantly dial that number, which I will answer on my other soft phone down below. Just going to mute these calls to stop any feedback. Okay, and now George is talking to JJ. But the great thing is, I've still, even though I'm using a true omni-channel scenario here, I've escalated this chat session to voice. Okay, but in Genesys Cloud, we don't choose to trash the old interaction and just elevate it to a voice call. We generate a new call back to the agent. We call the customer or the endpoint that we need to contact, and we still use the other channels. So we're keeping these channels open so we can continue to send information back over text or documents or URLs and so on and so forth during the conversation. Agent Assist is still working in the background as well. So anything that we discuss verbally with George on this voice call, I can still go back to here and search for criteria in Agent Assist and help George on his way. And of course, if I do end this call, something really good is going to happen. I'm going to end this call with a wrap-up code of escalated to voice. And then instantly, the transcript that we've got so far over chat is pushed into my screen, so I can still respond back to that historically over this now in progress voice call. Now, what I'm also going to do, I'm just going to share my engineer's desktop here now. So I'm going to just go to screen. I'm going to screencast my mobile to my Mac here. So bear with me a second while I just initiate that. Shouldn't take more than a second. And if I click new window, we'll now see that here is the engineer, Dean Roberts. Funny enough, is available on his mobile endpoint. And what we're going to do is transfer the customer to Dean Roberts and make sure they get this problem discussed and resolved once and for all. So I'm going to click on the consultation transfer because I want to actually talk to Dean and tell him who I'm going to transfer. So here's Dean Roberts, and he shows up as being available, which is good. I'm going to now call him, and you can see that Genesys Cloud, I've now put that caller on hold. George is on hold. I'm now ringing through to the Teams endpoint, which I'll answer. I'll just go on mute. So here I am as an agent. I'm actually talking now through the scenario with Dean Roberts, And when I'm ready, I'm going to transfer the call. So I'm going to simply transfer the call by clicking the arrow here. That will push the call through to my Teams endpoint. And sure enough, what I'm going to do here is just drop out of the conversation altogether by clearing down the wrap-up code as transferred and ending the callback or the escalation of voice. So I'm now in an idle state. And because other people are using the demo platform, let's just go to make busy. And of course, that call is still in progress between Dean Roberts and George, our customer. And I'm sure that will get resolved. So let's just hang up that session. Now, just to put the icing on the cake, what about if you want to, as an auditor or as a supervisor, you need to play this whole scenario back? Very, very easy in Genesys Cloud. Everything is within the single pane of glass, as you know. I simply go to performance as a supervisor and go to interactions. Once the interaction screen loads up, and I've actually pre-populated a search here for JJ, but I'm going to just open up all the interactions from JJ between a certain date stamp there. You can see in the middle of my screen. And one of them will be, well, actually two. One will be the digital chat. And so we've got the digital chat here, which is the interaction that we used. And then if we go back to interactions, we can see the voice call. The voice call is really, really interesting. It might take a couple of seconds just to transcode. It's brand new, hot off the press. We've just literally terminated this call, so it will have to transcode down to my desktop. But let's have a look at this. And we should be able to click on timeline very, very shortly and see a graphical format of this. But also, once this is transcoded, we'll be able to see two portions of the call. Look, portion number 1 of 2. Portion number 1, this is all about the interaction between JJ, the agent, and George when it's escalated the voice. And if I click on the second phase, this is going to be the interaction between Dean Roberts and the other parties. I can download that for voice call if I want by clicking download here. But let's just have a look at the graphical representation in the timeline. Look at this. I've got everything cradle to grave. I can see the customer came in. I can identify that it was escalation because it's come back in as a so-called callback. I can see that it's all transferred to Dean Roberts, and eventually that was dealt with and finished. And remember, as a quality manager, if you do want to do an audit or a quality survey, you can simply go into here and do your evaluation from there as well. So really simple and easy access to everything you need, both from the customer perspective of service automation, through to the agent of handling that digital and voice escalation, through to transfer into your team's endpoint, and finally recording and copying and evaluating that whole call through Genesys Cloud. WM, Workforce Engagement Management, and the portion of that we used, of course, was quality management.
Thanks so much for the demo. I really appreciate it.
No problem. No problem at all, Matt.
Yeah. And, one of the things that I wanted to verify just for my own sanity and for our customer who asked. So when you and I talked, the first thing we said is that Microsoft Teams was available through this integration, right? And, it's on free trial now, and you have to, after the trial, you have to pay for a subscription to whatever this integration is. And there's really no other way to integrate with Teams other than this subscription. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. And it really depends as well, Matt, on where the customer is with their Teams implementation, because I think there are maybe some commercial conditions as well. So if you're buying both platforms, you don't have to buy for two sets of licenses and so on and so forth. It's really worth checking. Each customer should check with a local AE just to find out what can be achieved commercially.
Cool. And then I know, just because I'd feel bad if I didn't ask, you may or may not have the answer here, but Raj, who sent in the initial question about Teams, after I replied to him, he went on to give me a little bit more information and said that in particular, they were having an issue trying to integrate Teams with their directory through Azure. What do you? The question is up here. I think you've read it, but you think this is something you'd have to look into, and we can maybe try to reply to them in the post. Is that correct?
Yeah. So that's quite an interesting question there, Matt. Just at the back end there, it says, "Do we need to pay for this integration after the trial?" Yes, you do. Basically, what happens there is we natively we ultimately got SIP trunks between each of the platforms. as well as some presence there using the API. So in theory, yes, you do have to pay after a trial because you need to pay for your Genesys Cloud licenses. And you also need to buy for everybody that isn't using the Genesys Cloud as a contact center, i.e. all your back office people that may be using Teams, you'd have to buy the relevant Microsoft license for those users as well. As I say, though, it's worth talking to the Genesys AE because there are special commercial plans in place. And I think they probably vary from geographic region to region, but there are plans in place there that allow you to benefit from both platforms without paying, twice for your licenses, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. Cool. Well, JJ, thanks so much for joining us for the quick demo. I know it was an impromptu gathering that we had, but I think it was really insightful. And you and I guess we'll have to see each other in the new year.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Matt. Always a pleasure. Thanks ever so much for having me on the show.
Absolutely. And we'll be in touch in the new year. All right, JJ, have a good one.
And you. Bye for now.
Later, buddy. Bye. All right, everyone. That concludes this week's episode. Again, thank you so much, JJ, for stopping by in this impromptu manner. Thank you, Raj, for the question that kickstarted this whole episode. We love answering customers' questions when we can. That being said, our next episode is going to be on metrics. It'll be recorded in that first week of December. So get in your questions before then. You can submit them in the GCAP portal where the community has our challenges. You can find my pinned post in the Genesys Cloud community. And of course, you can email us at qashow@genesys.com. Again, that's qashow@genesys.com. That concludes this week's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. Can't wait to see you after the holidays. And as always, let us know how we can help. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good one, everybody. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in for this week's episode. We hope it was helpful and maybe a little bit entertaining. Each week, our host and experts review community discussions and debate what content to discuss, so your voice matters. Did we miss something? Do you have a question for the show? Let us know. Join the conversation at the Genesys online community. As a Genesys customer or partner, you can create an account. Just click the sign in button found on most pages and follow the necessary instructions to create an account. Also, feel free to email us at qashow@genesys.com. We'd love to hear from you. If this is your first episode, welcome. You can view our entire archives. Go to the Helpful Links panel found on most community pages and find the QA Show archive that interests you. We appreciate your support of the show and the community. Cheers!